In mobile technology, it's the same story every single time. The media goes crazy over every hot new device, but after that review period wears off, so does the buzz behind that new toy you might still want to buy, but that now faces new competition. The thing is, in the real world, things don't really happen that way. For most of us, aging is just as important as the moment you unbox your product for the first time. It's how that device performs after extensive use that really matters down the line. So let's do something about it. Let's have a second look at what Apple decided that the word Plus should stand for in the smartphone world. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, and this is the iPhone 7 Plus After the Buzz. The iPhone 7 Plus marked the first time that I ever chose the larger iPhone. Previous variants were just blown-up iPhones, whereas this one was the only way to get extra features, like a dual camera, a larger battery, and more RAM. In theory, this was the best iPhone you could buy, but after nearly 9 months of using one, I've learned that even more features can be deceiving. The hardware, even as uninspired as it is, has not only aged very well, but it has clearly spun a trend of lookalikes and competitors. The display has a few scratches here and there since I'm reluctant to use screen protectors, but that's because even the solutions at the Apple Store look terrible given the 2.5D glass. Oh, and as is customary with iPhones, that oleophobic coating on the screen wears off at around 2 months of use. I'm still not a fan of IPS LCDs, but the P3 color gamut provided by this display, matched by the black bezels and the stereo speakers, continue to make this one of my favorite phones for consuming content. The matte black finish is still the color that I recommend most. Look at it, it still looks pristine, even though it is prone to smudges. About the only things you'll notice is minor lint marks from the thin case that I've been using from Spigen, and you actually have to look closely to see them though. And before I get called out over why I've been using this phone with a case, since you all know that I usually don't, that's because this is the second iPhone 7 Plus that I've owned. Yep, I broke the first one in a horrible fall onto concrete back in January. A little pebble shattered the glass and it dented the aluminum so badly that I had to use AppleCare Plus to replace the whole phone because the dent even compromised the water resistance. But the reasons why it fell are more important. This phone is not easy to handle. Even for my large hands, reaching the power button is a chore. Basic things like sliding down the notification shade require a hand maneuver, and given how slippery this finish is, using this phone without a case has proven to be an accident waiting to happen. iOS 11 beta has been powering the show ever since it was announced back at WWDC. We have a separate video going through most of the features, and sadly the best ones are focused mostly on the iPad. My favorites are really little things like making the keyboard smaller when operating this giant phone with one hand. Or the fact that you can now customize Control Center, even if I still don't like it visually. I also like this new translation feature on Siri, mostly because it responds not just with text, but also showing you how the pronunciation should be on the spot. And the rest of the features are either still not ready or simply things I don't really care about after my extensive period using this phone. Now, even with beta software, one of the highlights of this phone is how snappy it is, and it mainly has to do with the fact that these internals simply haven't aged. Slide through menus, launch apps, play your favorite games, and you'll notice that there is really no stutter to be found. One of the main benefits of owning an iPhone is that they're usually supported for up to a crazy 4 years in software updates, and those are instant for everyone. About my only complaint with iOS 11 is that most of my favorite games are retro games, and it seems that these might not get updated to the 64-bit architecture. That's going to be really sad. And about that whole amazing battery life that most of my friends praised about Plus iPhones in the past, well, it's either that I'm too much of a hardcore user, but I'm gonna call performance to be underwhelming. Sure, it ends the day in most cases, but this is not what I dub amazing battery life. And the beta is really just making things worse for obvious reasons. And then there's the case that charging this battery can take forever. Now, if we talk about the camera, there are things to praise and things that I don't praise. Apple's choice to adopt a wider aperture have finally made me return to using the iPhone for photography. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll notice that I love photography, and I've taken some of the best photos on that account using this phone. It doesn't matter if it's during the day or at night, the iPhone 7 Plus is seriously up there with competitors like the Galaxy S8. Now, what I can't say that I use at all is this secondary telephoto lens. First of all, the lens doesn't work at night given the low aperture. And then the whole portrait mode, while nice, is really terrible in low light or just too fake looking at times whenever there is light. I will still praise iPhones for their video capabilities, and it's awesome that this phone now supports H.265 video in order to be more efficient on storage. What I won't praise is this selfie camera, as the extra megapixels are just pointless if this field of view is so terrible for both photos and for video. To conclude, I guess that it's clear that my experience has been mixed with the iPhone 7 Plus. I've been an iPhone user since the 3GS, and as a platform and an experience, I have to admit I still love using iPhones. The thing is that my experience going Plus has been a bit disappointing. The main reasons why I decided to pony up extra money for this phone didn't really prove to be worth it in the end. I've never used a telephoto lens, the battery isn't really stellar, and the giant bezels make this phone really uncomfortable to use, and I still don't understand why such a large phone does not have a headphone jack. Like seriously, Apple. Match that with the fact that 2017 is full of phones that are far more ergonomic while still providing a larger screen, and are also more practical in what that secondary camera can do. And seriously, just choosing the iPhone 7 Plus over any of its current competitors is just too difficult. If you're in the market for an iPhone, I suggest you wait, as rumors have the iPhone 8 addressing all of the complaints, or at least we hope. Folks, just like this, we've got more episodes of After the Buzz, so follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow me on Twitter, Jaime_Rivera, or on Instagram at Jaime Rivera. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I am Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.